Thank you, Jim. The Metrodome in downtown Minneapolis. Another sellout today for the Miami Dolphins and the Minnesota Vikings. Good afternoon, everyone. Kevin Harlan alongside Sam White. Well, can Dolphin quarterback Jay Fiedler make it 2 in a row?
Well, he can, but last week he had field position, he had the lead, and 6 Seattle turnovers. That won't happen today with this noise.
And Sam, what about the Miami defense?
Well, it's all around Zach Thomas. You know, as a former coach, I love to watch him play. This guy hyperventilated the second quarter last week. He's an all-go.
And everybody is talking about Minnesota Viking quarterback Dante Culpepper, the Vikings, and the Dolphins next on CBS.
To the following presentation of the National Football League from CBS Sports, home of Super Bowl 35.
The Minnesota Vikings, the Miami Dolphins, two of the premier teams of the past decade. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Welcome back to the Rocket Metrodome here in downtown Minneapolis. Kevin Harlan and Sam White. And Sam, it's good to have you back after missing last week down in Miami. The throat's still healing after the minor surgery, but it's great to have you here.
It'll be a little scratchy, but we'll fight right through it.
Olindo Mare will kick off for the Miami Dolphins, and we are underway. Rookie Tyrone Carter will take it a yard deep for the Vikings. He breaks a tackle with Hill of Miami, and he takes it out to the 25-yard line. Patrick Surtain there, a return of 25 yards. And Sam, you and I get our first look at the sensational, at least after 1 week, second-year quarterback Dante Culpepper.
Well, it's his second year, but really his rookie year. He only played in 6 snaps a year ago, and all of those were running plays. But last week, 3 touchdowns on the ground, 73 yards and 13 carries.
So Culpepper, who set a record for Viking quarterbacks with the runs last week, lines up at his own 25-yard line with a 1st and 10. 6'4.5" and almost 260 pounds. And on first down, they give it to Robert Smith, who finds a crease and is brought down by Zach Thomas after a gain of 5. Minnesota's offense scored 30 points last week on the Chicago Bears. Stussy, Lacina, Burke, David Dixon, and Corey Stringer on their offensive line. We just saw Robert Smith carry the ball. A huge concern for the Dolphins today. Klein Saucer is the fullback. Randy Moss and Hall of Famer to be Chris Carter, the wide receivers. And the tight end is Andrew Jordan. Smith picks up a gain of 5. It's 2nd down and 5 from the Minnesota 30. Exceptional 4-man rush, and the first time you see Culpepper pass. Lucina with the block. Chasing him is Gardner. The pass is caught by tight end Andrew Jordan. He had a couple of drops last week, but he starts today. It's a gain of 6, and it's a 1st down for Minnesota. The Miami Dolphin defense, one of the best in the NFL. A defensive line which is deep and very talented up front. Mixon, Bowens, Gardner, and Jason Taylor. Linebackers for Miami. Zach Thomas will be in the middle, flanked on one side by Derek Rogers, on the other side by veteran Robert Jones. And in the secondary, Surtain and Madison, the cornerbacks. Brock Marion and Brian Walker are the safeties. Zach Thomas led him in tackles last week. Again, he had 13 of them for Miami in the shutout win that the Dolphins orchestrated over Seattle. From the 41, 1st down and 10. Robert Smith again, and Darrell Gardner is right there to make the stop. So Gardner looks very, very strong in the first 2. A gain of 1 right there, bringing up 2nd down and 9.
They've already got the headlines for Minnesota. They already have Dante Culpepper going to the Pro Bowl. But let's give this guy a little bit more time. He certainly started off fast. 3-man rush kept John Randall with no tackles. That's changed today. 200 yards in the Pro Bowl a year ago. Randy Moss against Sam Madison. And of course, the Metrodome noise will be a big factor. If the Miami football team can control this noise, big plus for them.
From the 42-yard line, 2nd down and 9 yards to go. Opening drive of the game for second-year quarterback Dante Culpepper. Got a nice block from Stussy, and the pass is overthrown with the flag thrown at the 45. He was aiming for Carter. The pressure was on. Stussy bought the quarterback time, but Jerry Austin, our referee, saw something downfield.
It looked like they called Patrick Surtain for it was offensive push, I was going to say.
Carter.
The ball was way overthrown, so it couldn't have been defense. It's offense.
Interference, offense, 80. 10 yards. Repeat, second down.
Chris Carter now, number 8. Watch him right at the end. He'll just shove that right arm, just trying to get position on Patrick Surtain. And you have, as a defensive player, as much right to that turf as the offensive guy does.
So the penalty pushes it back to second 19. Kleinsasser will come out. Tight end Andrew Jordan is in. And Matthew Hatchett becomes one of the wide receivers along with Moss and Carter. So with the penalty, pushed back to just outside the Minnesota 32. A fake pass and a quick handoff, and it goes to Robert Smith, who is immediately brought down by Robert Jones. And a gain of 1 on the play as you take a look at Dennis Green, who has made the playoffs for now in his 9th season for the previous 7 of the last 8 years.
Denny and I were on the same staff there in San Francisco in 1979 with Bill Walsh. You knew then that he was going to get his shot. Got, of course, in college at Northwestern and Stanford before coming here. He's a winner.
3rd down and 18, just outside the Viking 32. Lone running back is Robert Smith. Another good block by Stussy. Culpepper with time, throws the pass. Sam Madison got in the way, and in front of Chris Carter, it's an incomplete pass, and Minnesota's got a punt on their first possession.
Good pass rush coming up the field that time from Trace Armstrong, who is lining up probably 18 inches outside the shoulder of that offensive tackle at a 45-degree angle. He's going to be up in the face of Dante Culpepper all day long, forced him to step up in the pocket.
Leslie Shepard returning punts today. Ben Kelly got hurt. He's a talented rookie out of Colorado, and the punt by Berger of Minnesota sends Shepard bobbling the ball back at the 12-yard line and brought down by Chris Walsh, who is a demon on Minnesota's special teams. A 54-yard punt, a 6-yard return, and Walsh is right there. He played for Dennis Green at Stanford. And a timeout. So Minnesota punts the first time they've had the ball. We'll take a look at the Dolphin defense. The dome, Minnesota just punting. Miami getting it for the first time. Beasley Reeves is the 3rd member of our crew here in the dome today from the 19-yard line with a lot of noise. It's Miami, first down and 10 yards to go. As Jay Fiedler gets under center, Tim Ruddy. Gadsden in motion. Here's Lamar Smith getting the pitch. Good block by Ruddy. He was whacked. Smith was by Griffith and brought down after a gain of 3. Jay Fiedler is in his 5th season out of Dartmouth. He's bounced around last year, backing up Mark Brunell with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Fiedler has a huge following among Ivy Leaguers. We spoke to him yesterday, and he said he got calls from all over the nation from guys who graduated from Princeton and Penn and Dartmouth, and they are loving the fact that this guy's off to a good start.
Now it's a 2nd down and 7 from the 22. Tight end Goodwin is in motion. A fake handoff by Fiedler. Here comes Sawyer. The pass downfield is incomplete to the fullback Rob Conrad, and great linebacking coverage by Dwayne Rudd. Let's take a look at the Miami offense, and on that line they'll be protecting Fiedler today. The veteran Richmond Webb with Dixon, Ruddy, Donnelly, and Wade. Wade is a rookie. Dixon might be the best on that line. Smith and Conrad in the backfield with Tony Martin and Aronde Gadsden as the wide receivers. The tight end is Hunter Goodwin. Goodwin used to play for the Minnesota Vikings. It's 3rd down and 7 from the 22. Griffith will come on the blitz. It's picked up well by Smith, and the pass downfield is caught on a dive at the 36-yard line by Aronde Gadsden. It's a gain of 15 on 3rd down and 7. Let's take a look at the Minnesota Viking defense today with a stout front line. John Randall is the man who anchors that line with Burrow, Williams, and Talance Sawyer. Sawyer's a young player they like a great deal. Kylie Wong is the middle linebacker, flanked by Rudd and Ed McDaniel, who leads his team, it seems, every year in tackles. And the secondary, Dishman, Thomas, Griffith, and Tate. At the 37-yard line of Miami, after the first down pass by Fiedler, it's a first down pitch out, and it goes to Lamar Smith, who is brought down from behind by Kylie Wong. He got out to the 42. It's a gain of 5. That sets up 2nd down and 5. Well, the Dolphins coming off a nice win, Sam Weiss, last week over Seattle.
Well, no interceptions is a big thing. Over 62% throwing for Fiedler. 145 of the 181 yards was racked up by Lamar Smith. And of course, the Dolphins, Wayne Heinzinger said he considered 20 to 50%, but he will not sell controlling interest in this football team. And then today, an unstoppable offense in Minnesota with that tough defense of Miami. That's a key headline, too.
2nd down along 4, shy of the 43. And it's Smith again trying to twist his way around until Lance Sawyer makes the play. Sawyer was fined this week by the NFL with the late hit on Cade McNown last week, the Chicago quarterback.
Now, I'm going to tell you, it is so loud down there. I thought that Arrowhead in Kansas City was the loudest venue in the National Football League. I was very, very wrong. I just ran up from downstairs, and all of the professionals are wearing earplugs. The Miami offense is doing a great job concentrating through this noise level.
But Miami is not wearing earplugs.
They are not.
Minnesota is, Miami is not. It's 3rd down and 4, shy of the 43 for Fiedler. Thurman Thomas is in. The pass to the side goes incomplete. He was zeroing in on wide receiver Leslie Shepard. The coverage by Kenny Wright. It's 3rd down, and like Minnesota before him, make it 4th down, and like Minnesota before him, the Miami Dolphins have got a punt. Here's Matt Turk to let it fly, and David Palmer is back for Minnesota. Turk last week had a good day punting. One of his punts was in the air 5.5 seconds. Unbelievable. Great hang time. And the same kind of hang time here as Palmer takes it from the 12. And he was brought down in a hurry. All kinds of Dolphins down there. Robert Jones was one of the first after the 45-yard punt, a 3-yard return. We'll take another look at Dante Culpepper when we come back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of the Super Bowl. Saturn L-Series Performance Sedan. And by PSINet, the Internet Super Carrier.
8:39 in the first quarter from the Dome. No score, Miami, Minnesota. On the 15-yard line, 2nd offensive possession today by the Vikings as Culpepper fakes the handoff one way and gives to Moss on the end around. He's chased by Rodgers. He spins on a dime, and he's finally brought down by Brock Marion. Out near the 24, it's a gain of 9 on the end around to Randy Moss.
That was excellently executed. You know, Randy Moss is so comfortable. Watch how he just relaxes. He's very cool when he gets the ball. When they shut down, when Miami's defense shuts down his attempt to go around in, he just kind of finds a place and then turns it upfield. This guy is a superior athlete.
Dennis Green, Sam, told us that Moss has been working on his runs after catches and during runs.
Well, you know, he's such a threat deep. You get him the ball early as well and let him outrun everybody.
On the 24, 2nd down and 1. Robert Smith tries to pick his way through it. Finally gets a 1st down after the gain of 3 and the tackle made by Zach Thomas.
The one thing that reverse does, though, it cuts down that pursuit by the defense. That one pays dividends down the road, don't you think?
Absolutely. It makes the defense stay in their lines of areas.
Zach Thomas, what did Barry Switzer say? He's like a bowling ball of sharp cooking knives coming at you.
Well, I know Sherman Lewis said that he is one tough Jesse. That was the first thing they said when they were talking about him this week.
I was trying to figure out what a Jesse is, but I know it's a compliment.
It's a Thomas is what it is. It's a Zach Thomas.
1st down and 10 up near the 27-yard line for the Minnesota Vikings. Fake handoff twice by Culpepper, sets up the screen, caught by Smith. David Dixon with the lead block, and he runs for a 1st down up near the 39. And Zach Thomas with the tackle. It's a gain of 11. Nice play turned in by young quarterback Dante Culpepper.
Well, this guy he might be the largest quarterback in the National Football League. I mean, you take a look at his numbers, 6'5". He was 6 foot tall in the 8th grade. He was 6'2" by the time he was a senior in high school at about 240. The average quarterback is 215. You see this guy, and coach, fully dressed, he might be 270, 275 when you try to tackle him.
It depends on before or after he eats, right? As is the case with a lot of linemen.
1st down from the 38 for Culpepper. Good blocking, tons of time. Now the pocket crumbles and Kenny Mixon devours him. It's a sack for Mixon. The defensive line of the Miami Dolphins, truly one of the defensive strengths.
Mixon coming from the side right here. Now he's going up against number 77, or 73 rather. Here's the rush, I'm sorry. Corey Stringer on the right side, who's one of the biggest offensive linemen in the league, but just a lot of push. Mixon will always go to the strong side, and then they will take to the weak side, Jason Taylor.
That was almost a coverage sack because no one was open downfield.
It really was. Dante was looking downfield. There was nothing there.
Out the 32-yard line, 2nd down and 16 for Minnesota. Scoreless game. As Culpepper sets and throws a pass caught by tight end Andrew Jordan, who's chased and brought down by Sam Madison. He's up to the 39, picking up 7 yards on the play.
You know, Beasley, two things they're doing. The Vikings are giving them a lot of formations, therefore they can't double cover those 2 wide receivers. And number 2, they're getting the ball to the other receivers other than Carter and Randy Moss down the field, tight ends and running backs.
And number 3, we've seen some elaborate offensive play calling. We've seen a reverse already, and we've seen a very well executed screen to Robert Smith. So that slows the defense down. This great defense has to think a little bit.
3rd down and 9. With the Vikings at their 39. Culpepper, great time to throw. He's got Carter downfield, and it's a foot race. Chased by Brock Marion, brought down at the 19-yard line. Marion may have saved the touchdown, and Chris Carter with a 42-yard gain.
Chris Carter's coming right down the sideline here. Protection gives him a chance to complete this one. This one is slow developing.
And coach, what a perfect throw. I mean, he drops it right over Brock Marion's head. That's a super throw by Dante.
And Marion's a good corner guy.
He's a very good player.
So now from the 19-yard line of Miami, Minnesota with the 1st and 10. Draw play handoff to Smith, finds a small gap, and then quickly the Dolphin defense is there again. Darrell Gardner, 92, shuts the door with no gain. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Robert Smith, though, is one of those guys. As Dave Wanstead told us yesterday, he's like Barry Sanders. No yardage, 1 yard, 2 yard, and then all of a sudden, bam, he's gone for 50 or 60.
I tell you, I was really surprised to hear Coach make that comparison, but if you look at this guy's numbers, he's got more 20-yard plus gains than maybe anybody playing actively right now.
Yeah.
2nd down and 10 with the 8th play of the drive coming up for Minnesota. This drive began back at their 15, inside the 19 of the Dolphins. Culpepper throws to Moss, brought down by Surtain at the 10, and close to a Minnesota 1st down.
I tell you, I just love to watch Randy. Everybody loves to watch Randy Moss catch, but I think it bears noticing how easy he makes everything look.
Well, every break, he's coming right out of here. Now he's going to come right to the inside. Clear out by Carter. He actually didn't look that ball in. He made it squeeze.
See,
but he made the catch.
Your average guy has to look it in, find the point, tuck it away. He's just such a naturally gifted athlete.
It's 3rd down and 1. At about the 10-yard line, Vikings deep in Miami territory. Culpepper to the end zone where no one was. Incomplete. Carter is over there complaining. Sam Madison was over there arguing as well, but maybe he was out. Carter's already been called for a penalty today. Incomplete pass.
Well, you saw the smile on Carter's face. This is a guy who loves to play football, and then he knows how to act with the officials too. You know, he pleaded his case, didn't get it, laughed it off, and went to the sideline.
Actually, I think he missed the audible. I think Dante Culpepper signaled for him to run a little step and go to the corner, and he got cut off by Sam Madison.
Now here's 40-year-old Gary Anderson, perfect this year, 28-yard try here. The punter Berger with the hold, and Miami will hold the hard-charging Minnesota Vikings to just 3. So a moral victory of sorts for Miami, but indeed the Vikings are on the board first. Gary Anderson just knocked through a 28-yarder. He has kicked more field goals than any other kicker in the National Football League, and he watches from the sideline as Mitch Berger has it teed up for Minnesota.
Hey, I talked to him right before the kickoff. He said his son Austin played his first football game last night. He's a quarterback. He plays quarterback because he said dead kickers don't make any money.
Brock Marion Gets a roll at about the 6. And brought down nicely by Thibodeau. Pete Thibodeau, who has bounced around the league from Washington to Atlanta and now a Viking, makes the tackle. We've got a timeout late in the first quarter.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by BF Goodrich Tires. Take control. And by DirecTV. Never miss a moment.
Capitol Building here in the Twin Cities of Minneapolis, St. Paul. Vikings on top on a 28-yard field goal. During that long drive, a 42-yard reception by Chris Carter. Now, after a good special teams tackle, Miami is back at their 14. First down and 10 for the Dolphins. Lamar Smith with the Conrad block, and he's gobbled up by a host of Vikings. Right in the middle of that line, John Randall led the brigade. They all had a hand in it. There's Ed McDaniel, too. He's been one of the great players for this team. Middle linebacker 2 years in a row this year, playing outside linebacker.
And he likes it out there. 13 tackles last week, so he gets the chase from the backside.
Now second down and 1, just outside the 15. Make it second down and 9. Blocked by Webb. Fiedler hit once. Kindly Wong can't make the tackle. Nor can Burrow. And diving ahead is the slippery Fiedler. And he has out to the 24-yard line. Let's check in at 5th Avenue with Jim Nance.
All right, guys, and how about this start for the Colts? After a Peyton Manning touchdown pass, the next time they have the football, Edgerrin James finds the end zone. 14-0. Colts over the Raiders early. Let's go back to Kevin and Sam.
Back to Jim. Indiana was 7-1 at home a season ago, and of course they win last week. The Colts do, the Indianapolis Colts do, at Kansas City. Bert Emanuel is the quarterback, 3rd and inches. The fake handoff, he'll run the option, and he's brought down by Griffith. And maybe the second effort got him the yardage, but doesn't look like it. They say his knee was down at about the 23 when he had to get outside the 24.
2 plays in a row, though. The tackling not very good by Minnesota. Bert Emanuel now last week was ruled illegal in this formation. The league cleared that rule up. He's legal, does not have to report, doesn't have to leave. Second effort doesn't quite get enough. Trying to reach on his second grab easily.
Matt Turk with his second punt today. David Palmer is deep back, circling under it at the 26-yard line. And he gets out to about the 35. Ed Perry, number 89, who is the long snapper, made the tackle. 52-yard punt, 9-yard return. It's Minnesota late in the first by 3. Just 25 seconds to play here in the first quarter. Vikings on top on a 28-yard field goal. Minnesota begins it again at their own 34, 1st and 10. Vikings so far have been dominant on offense. Moss is in motion. Fake to Smith. Culpepper on 1st and 10. Being chased by Bromell. Being chased by Gardner. Being chased by Rodgers. Out of bounds. He ran for 73 yards last week. Runs down to the Miami 40 here, and he picks up a gallop of 26.
Now watch how everything breaks down on the right side of the Miami defense. Culpepper knows he can run. Now, you looking at a 270-pound man, you think he's slow. This guy can slam dunk a basketball. They say he can do a 360 dunk. This is a superior athlete. This guy really runs well, and that's something you'll see a lot, and something Dave Wannstedt said he was worried about.
That'll take us to the end of the first quarter with the score, Minnesota 3, Miami nothing. We'll return to the Metrodome right after this message on CBS. We begin the second quarter with the 1st and 10 for Minnesota following the Culpepper run of 26 yards. From the 40-yard line. Viking quarterback sets with time downfield, and it is intercepted by Brock Marion at the 10. And he's got room to roll. Chased out of bounds by Brad Badgers, pulling on the offensive line, a return of 14 yards. And the second interception in as many weeks for Brock Marion.
Well, this is a great look at it. It's against the double zone. The weak spot in a double zone where the safeties have the half is right down the middle of the field. You don't throw it there unless you've done something to control the safeties. That's a young quarterback mistake.
Culpepper throws his second interception in as many games. Timeout. Kenny Green just had his young quarterback throw an interception picked off by Brock Marion. So from the 26-yard line, Miami has it first down and 10. Jay Fiedler has Emmanuel in motion. And the quick throw is incomplete. Downfield looking for Tony Martin. Coverage by Robert Tate. It'll be second down and 10.
Now watch the fullback come out of the backfield here, and Zach Thomas has the coverage. Brock Marion is the safety at the top of the field. The quarterback is looking, has his back to Brock Marion. He never sees him coming, so there's nothing to hold Brock Marion on his spot. He comes down from the backside and makes a great interception.
Second down and 10 from the 26. Hand off to Smith, who bullets upfield, picks up 9, slithering his way near the 35. Let's go to Fifth Avenue in New York and Jim Nance.
All right, thank you, Kevin. A year ago, Jimmy Smith caught 17 passes in 2 games against the Ravens. He's beaten them again early. From Brunell, 45-yard hookup and a touchdown, 10-0 Jacksonville early. And let's go back to Kevin.
Jacksonville has never lost to Baltimore. Mark Brunell, out of last week's game, had a quarterback rating of well over 100. He's unbelievable.
That usually leads the league if you're over 100.
It's third down and 2. Gadsden on the move from just shy of the 35. Good block by Smith. Burrow goes down, pass caught for a first down. Grabbed by reserve tight end Jed Weaver. A starter last year as a rookie with the Philadelphia Eagles. It's a gain of 12 and a Miami first down.
Yeah, this is an example of the new Miami offense. They run the ball and they do play action. In last week's game, they only had 2 drop back passes. Everything else was play action. It's a good fake inside and a good throw by Fiedler.
And Griffith was there to get him. Weaver was a third teamer last week and he's moved up to second team this week. Outside the 46, Miami has it first down and 10. It's Smith again. Conrad, the lead block. He gets a good block on Long, and then Griffith throws Lamar Smith out of bounds as he wheels outside for a gain of about 8 to 9 yards. Smith picking up where he left off last week, and get live updates for each NFL game as it happens. Just click on the live scores at cbs.sportsline.com. Makes a difference when you got a running back back there.
It really does. And Lamar Smith, 145 yards last week. And Dave Wannstedt was just telling us yesterday in our meeting that he loves to run the ball. He'll do very little drop back passing, so he's happy with this offense.
Colts in Jacksonville winning handily their 2 games. Second down and 1. Smith again brought down by Griffith, and he's got a first down for Miami.
You know what Lamar Smith does is he just takes the hole. There's some ball players that keep wanting to bounce outside. This guy will jump back inside and get it. Watch, he's going to come back inside here and then straight up into that hole. He's not going to hesitate. Let's don't underestimate the blocking, though, of Rob Conrad. This guy is a terrific lead blocker.
And a good pass receiver out of the backfield, too.
Yeah, well, in this offense, you have to be both. And actually, he's a tailback in a fullback spot, and he can run the ball, too.
First down and 10, Miami at the Viking 43. The pitch out to Smith. Here comes Sawyer. Smith gets away. Burrow falls down. Straight back thrown by Dixon. Smith still on his feet and finally brought down. Running from sideline to sideline at the 49-yard line. He's taken down and loses 6 on the play.
Okay, forget what I said about taking the hole.
That was the longest running play in the National Football League this year.
You know what, this demonstrates a couple of things. Number one, the defense is staying home. They won't let him get around the corner, either corner, left or right.
And Jay Fiedler threw a nice block coming up right there. So he got into the blocking part of this game.
All of his teammates stayed with him.
Retired Smith. Thurman Thomas is in. Second down, 16. Inside the Viking 49. Fiedler with play action, loads of time, throws a pass, incomplete. A little bit too much in front of Wesley Shepard. Incomplete pass. 3rd and long. This possession by Miami set up on the Brock Berrien interception.
This is the deep in route by the wide receiver. And you see the ball is too far in front and really not catchable at all.
Actually, it's a good thing he didn't leave it in catchable range, or that one would have been a
knockout.
A knockout or an interception one. We'd have really had a replay to look at.
It'd be good night.
4th down and 16 just inside the Viking 49. Three receivers out for Fiedler, who throws on the run. It's incomplete. He was looking for Shepard. He was covered by Thibodeau. And Miami can't cash in on the Brock Berrien interception, so they'll have to punt the ball away.
You know, I'm watching John Randall try to work, who had no tackles last week. Very, very unusual for a great player like him. But they're double teaming him and giving him no chance to bring that average up this afternoon either.
Palmer is deep back for the Minnesota Vikings. 3 possessions for the Dolphins and 3 punts. And Matt Turk, the 3-time Pro Bowler, lets it fly. Fair caught at the 10-yard line by Palmer. A 39-yard punt. Vikings lead on a 28-yard field goal. 3-0.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Dodge. In a perfect world, everything would be different. The motor oil that provides maximum protection. Castrol GTX. Drive hard. And by Avaya. Communication without boundaries.
Vikings get it. Second start inside their 15 today. At the 11, 1st and 10. Dante Culpepper is already thrown an interception. Hand off to Robert Smith. Brought down by Rich Owens after a gain of 2. Second down and 8 upcoming, and coming up on the NASDAQ.com halftime report. Join Jim Nance, Mike Ditka, and Craig James for all the scores and highlights and a preview of the U.S. Men's Open Championship. Coming up on the NASDAQ.com halftime report.
I'll tell you what surprised me meeting with Dante Culpepper. He said that last year, Jeff George barely spoke to him, and Randall Cunningham didn't really help him at all. Talked to him a little bit. So everything he learned running the scout team last year. So it's surprising that he's been able to pick up this offense this fast.
Second down 8 from the 12. Pocket crumbling. There goes Culpepper. Whacked at the 17 by Zach Thomas and Kenny Mixon after a gain of 4. Already today, Culpepper's had a run of 26 yards.
Dave Wannstedt said they bring 3, sometimes 4, 5, 6, but they're really mixing up the way they cover down the field. In and out coverage, roll up for it. Watch Randy Moss on this particular play. He gets jammed and then jammed right back. He'd had enough of it this afternoon.
What a great job. See, that's one of the things, because he's so tall, cornerbacks thought they could get underneath him and intimidate him in the bump and run. I guess not.
3rd down 4 from the 17. Carter on the move. Culpepper sets and goes outside to the aforementioned Chris Carter, who is spun out of bounds by Sam Madison. He's got the 1st down near the 26-yard line. 2 catches, both on 3rd downs today for Chris Carter.
You know, last week these guys, Carter and Moss, only caught 1 pass in the first half, so they're certainly doing better this half. But this is a little inside move, or inside position to an outside move. Look at the physical contact down the field. Tempers will be flying before this game is over. These guys are hitting hard on both sides of the ball.
26-yard line, 1st and 10. Culpepper 6, brought down. The second sack of the game for Miami, and Tim Bowens offers this one coming right up the middle.
See, Tim Bowens is kind of a, he's a 6'2" guy with a lot of weight on him. He really gets a good push up the middle. And this is just a good sack. I mean, we can't really call it a coverage sack. He dropped down in normal timing, hit the back foot at the normal time. Bowens just kind of waited, and then when he saw the opening, ran in and made the sack. That's a great job.
Bowens actually didn't get a lot of penetration. He was kind of spying.
He was the spy.
He was the spy. He was making sure. It's just like coverage on a wide receiver. They're covering Dante Culpepper with somebody who's called the spy man.
Both the sacks on first down for Miami against Minnesota's offense. Second down and 16 here. Culpepper throws to the sideline, caught by Chris Walsh. Reserve wide receiver, Culpepper on the money, picks up 20 yards and another Minnesota first down.
Looked like the pass to Chris Carter last week from Dante Culpepper. This is a major league veteran throw right here. Look at this one. Outside and laces up.
I tell you, Coach, the offensive line gave Dante the ability to just clear his mind and look downfield. That's what this guy can do if they give him time.
Culpepper, who grew up in Ocala, Florida, and watching Charlie Ward for Florida State. That was his idol. First and 10 handoff. Robert Smith, huge hole. A flag is down. Brock Marion makes the tackle at the 41 of the Dolphins. A 19-yard gain, but they're going to wipe it away in a penalty flag thrown on the Minnesota Vikings.
Tragedy of that one, I think the hold happened way after Robert Smith was gone.
Holding, 74 offense, 10 yards, repeat first down.
What a shame. What a great run. I mean, he hit that hole and then tried to split the safeties, tried to jump through the safeties.
How fast was his explosive move?
You know, this guy was on a 4x400 meter team at Ohio State that posted the fastest time in the world in 1993, so he can run.
They say that Moss, Robert Tate, and Robert Smith are the three fastest guys on this football team.
So 2 Viking penalties today, both on the offense. First and 20 with the penalty, push it back to the Viking 30-yard line. Smith again. There he goes. Chased by Jason Taylor and brought down from behind. And he picks up about 18 yards on the run. He's up to the 47-yard line. Monday on CBS begins with an all-new Big Brother, then the King of Queens. Everybody loves Raymond, Becker, and Family Law. All Monday on CBS.
What's happening here on defense? Miami's trying to get real wide splits to contain Dante Culpepper when he drops back to pass. And this quick hitting right up the middle is paying off because of the wide splits.
Second down 3 outside the Viking 47. Changing the play.
Oh yeah, he's changing the play. He sees that wide split again.
The blitz and a fumble on the exchange from center Matt Burke, who had trouble last week on 2 separate occasions for the Vikings. He's taken the place of Jeff Christie, who went as a free agent in Tampa Bay.
Now Dante just pulled out a little bit in anticipation of this snap, and it's a shame if you're Vikings fans because they finally got Randy Moss wide open, one-on-one against Brock Marion with no one in the middle of the field, and it was a quick slant, and he had him beat.
They don't want one-on-one against Brock Marion, I can tell you. They'd like to have that. Sam Madison, maybe.
Right.
Third down 5. Trace Armstrong has come in at left end defensively for the Dolphins. Culpepper blitzes on, passes broken up, incomplete. Wonderful defensive play by 23 Patrick Surtain. And Minnesota's got a punt again.
Had 2 guys coming that time. That was Trent Gamble, a rookie. And of course, Zach Thomas. Zach Thomas is so much fun to watch. He does not have a second gear. He's got first, and he stays in first.
And you know what? Believe it or not, that was a rare blitz for this Miami defense. Last week they only had, what was it called, 6 blitzes?
6 blitzes.
The entire game. So you think that this is a blitzing team. It's really not. They just react so fast.
Rick Arkin is back for Miami. Normally they'd have Wesley Shepard, but they think that Ogden, and a great corner kick by Mitch Berger out at the 6-yard line. A Pro Bowler a season ago, led the NFC in punting, and a flag is down across the way. I was going to say that Ogden, they think, may have better hands than Leslie Shepard, so when it's down deep in their territory like that, they put an Ogden.
Holding during the kick, 29 of the receiving team. Half a distance to the goal, first down.
That's Sam Madison as you take a look at Dave Wanstead, who used to coach here a lot with his Chicago Bears in this building against Minnesota. Now there's a timeout. Season series premiere Friday, October 6th on CBS. The Dolphins are marooned at their 3. And they've got it 1st and 10. And off goes to Smith. He breaks one tackle. Adam McDaniel, and down he goes. Dwayne Rudd makes the grab. No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Listen, I can't tell you how loud it is in this place, especially with the Dolphins backed up right against those Vikings fans. And we have to remember that even though this is a great defensive play here, it's the special teams that put them back there. The special teams have been beautiful all game long. The first special teams mess up is going to end up being big as this game goes on.
2nd down and 10. Fiedler with Randall in his face throws over the head of Tony Martin, who is covered on the play by Tate. The flag is on the field across the way at the 4.
Prior to the snap, false start, right guard. Half a distance to the goal, 2nd down.
Right guard is 65, Kevin Donnelly.
So that play did not count. They'll get to do it again. Probably work to the advantage of Miami.
I think Beasley moments ago said there was a lot of noise in here.
Motion right there.
This week in practice, for the first time maybe in the history of the Dolphins, they used a sound system at practice.
Miami executives can't remember ever doing that before.
2nd down, 11, back at the 2. Fiedler looking one way, going the other, down the sideline, looking for Martin, incomplete. And the coverage applied by Robert Tate. It'll be 3rd and 11.
And on 3rd and 11, they've got to get a little punting room right now. I don't see him going down the field. I think they've got to get enough room to get that ball out. You just mentioned, Beasley, how important special teams have been already in this ball game in terms of field position. Backed up. Watch Minnesota coming after him. So this 3rd down is more important than most 3rd downs in a ball game. Well, I was wrong about that. They're going to throw it.
It's 3rd down and 11. Outside the 1. They're showing blitz, and here they come at Fiedler. A quick throw and a good catch made with the flag down. Tony Martin wiggling his way up near the 15. As it stands right now, it's a 1st down. But the flag is down.
Prior to the snap, delay of game. Offense. Half a distance to the goal, 3rd down.
Well, I'll tell you what,
Noise.
It's the noise, guys.
it's a big factor, but I'll tell you what, that was a lot of confidence thrown out on the field for Jay Fiedler from his coach.
Yes,
Backed up like that, 3rd down and long, spread everybody out knowing they're going to blitz you, and let him throw the ball, and he did his job.
And I'm trying to figure out who didn't blitz.
Oh no, just the cover guys. That's
I
all.
believe you and I are the only ones who didn't blitz, Coach. See, that's the 12th man, that crowd.
And about the 1. 3rd down and 11. Fiedler with time down the sideline and looking for Rondé Gadsden, incomplete, covered by the veteran Chris Dishman. And Miami's got a punt.
Right down the sideline. Safe pass, but it's not complete. It's out of bounds. Don't want to turn it over back here.
Well, you know what I like, or what I hated as a corner? I like the underthrow from that situation. They didn't quite get it off. Look where that punter standing.
Vikings haven't blocked one since '89. A kick by Turk. David Palmer will return it with the beginning point at the 37. Fakes the end around to Walsh, and down he goes. As again, the very quick and fast Miami special teams are there. Hill getting off the pile, along with Larry Izzo. And a timeout with Minnesota on top.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Gateway. In Gateway country, people rule. And by the United States Marine Corps. The change is forever.
A 62-yard punt moments ago by Turk to get out of the end zone. Beauty. Best beginning field position now for Minnesota. Up at their 44 with a first down and 10. Hand off to Robert Smith. Runs up the middle without a whole lot there. Picks up 2, and Miami's defense last week, guys, shut out Seattle.
They're coming close again this week as well. But look at that, 143 yards total offense from the Seattle Seahawks. Mike Holmgren's not used to that.
Well, I'll tell you what I like. As an old defensive player, they forced 6 turnovers. You do that, you win the game. You win the game.
Only committed 1 themselves as well. Miami's still lining everybody up real wide. Even their linebackers are lining up outside. That's why you see Minnesota trying that run up the middle and successful.
Second down, 7. Shotgun snap to Culpepper. Got a block, and he's running again. He's got the first down if he gets to the 46. He saw the sideline, and he may have been shy. He was by the length of a football. Zach Thomas ushers him out of bounds. And the two talked a bit after the play.
Well, they will be meeting each other for years to come. This is just, I think he decided to run this, Coach, 1 second after he got the ball.
Yeah, when he got that rush up the field wide, watch Thomas here at the very end of it. And when these two guys are walking back, Dante Culpepper, the quarterback, probably 5 inches taller. But don't take anything away.
That's right.
From Zach Thomas. He is one terrific middle linebacker.
Third down, short one. Inside the 47, Culpepper with the quarterback sneak and plows his way for the first down. To the 44, and starting this Friday, CBS is taking you back to the island for 13 nights. Now here's your chance to see how it all began. Don't miss it, Survivor. Back to the island starting Friday on CBS.
I didn't miss a single show.
Nor did I.
Of the original.
There's Dennis Green and Dave Wannstedt. Wannstedt, before every game, puts on his Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl ring. His good luck. He's done it. He's superstitious. He did it last week, and he did it again this morning, he told me.
Comes the blitz.
They're at the 45. There was a 1st and 10. And we've reached the 2-minute warning. First quarter field goal by Gary Anderson, 28 yards away. Vikings on top. And coming up on the NASDAQ.com halftime report, Jim Nantz, Mike Ditka, Craig James, with all the scores and highlights and a preview of the men's U.S. Open Championship coming up on the NASDAQ.com halftime report.
You know, guys, only one ball has gone to Randy Moss. He caught it for about an 8-yard gain. At some point, you know, they're going to have to get this ball out to their superstars in the passing game, or there could be some problems down the road. These guys want to catch 80 balls a year. 1st and 10, Vikings at the Dolphin 45. Culpepper throws to the aforementioned Randy Moss. Beasley, a call to tackle, was made by Zach Thomas, close to a first down. Coach, I was a little surprised he went that flat and didn't turn it upfield. He curled that run after the catch, and they've talked about him being better after the catch with the football. He curled that right into Zach Thomas.
Well, you know, guys with speed think they can outrun everybody. They think they can outrun that first guy, especially if he's wearing a number 54.
Vikings at the Dolphin 35 at the 1st and 10. Good time for Culpepper. Good block by Dixon. Almost picked up by Patrick Surtain. It was a pass intended for Randy Moss. 2nd down and 10.
That was almost like a short arm thing from Randy Moss.
Well, he double clutched it. And I tell you, I think Randy Moss thought he was coming off of him. Took his eye off the ball. I don't think he ever saw the throw because Culpepper started, pulled it back, and then went again.
Look at Cleveland on top of Cincinnati, 14-7.
It's in their brand new Paul Brown Stadium, too.
It's first game in there. That's right.
Yep.
Jacksonville is winning up in Baltimore. 2nd down and 10. 4 receivers for Culpepper. Great block by Lucina. There goes Culpepper. Keeps his footing. Got away from Taylor. There goes a flag and out of bounds goes the nimble Culpepper to the 23-yard line, but another flag again on the Viking offense will wipe it away.
Holding, 77 offense, 10 yards, repeat, 2nd down.
77 is Corey Stringer.
You know, Kevin, that's twice now that Dante Culpepper scrambled to his right, and rather than just step out of bounds, he's taken a shot right on the sideline. I'll guarantee you Denny Green's going to talk to him about that.
Coach, I was just thinking the same thing, and he takes the shot in the knee.
Yeah, both hits were low, right?
Yeah, he's letting these guys hit him in the knee. He's got to drop that shoulder and just bury these guys.
As Corey Stringer, 77.
With Armstrong coming in.
Trace Armstrong had 2.5 sacks last week.
Now 2nd down and 20. Push it back to the 45 of the Dolphins for Minnesota. They're blocked by Burke and Stussy. There goes the pass. Almost broken up, but it's caught by Chris Carter. It's loose. They mark him down. It's a catch at the Dolphin 18-yard line. It's a 27-yard gain. The animated Chris Carter. Someday he will be in Canton.
This is just a deep in route, very slowly developing. And look at the concentration on this catch. I watched Carter in pregame warm-ups, and he practiced catching the balls with one hand. This guy only needs one hand.
Well, he always catches it with his fingers and his hands. He doesn't let that ball get to his body.
Minnesota's going to burn a timeout. They've got 2 left. 33 seconds to play in the first half, and Minnesota's on top, 3-0. Well, we've started a review process on the catch moments ago, or what appeared to be a catch by Chris Carter. And Jerry Austin will go over inside that machine and take a look at the play. Plays provided by CBS. Let's watch it again.
Right here. He's got to have possession.
Can't tell from that angle.
Yeah. The question is a rule that's been refined this year. In fact, Bert Emanuel is the guy that made the catch last year in Tampa Bay against the St. Louis Rams that caused this review. You've got to have possession. The ball touches the ground. You have to have possession after you come back, and that's what they're checking. Did he have possession before and after if the ball touched the ground? Looked like the ball didn't even touch the ground.
Now, if he caught it and no Miami Dolphin touched him, and then the Dolphin comes through and knocks the ball loose, is that a fumble? See, is he touched here by the defender?
Okay, what happened to the ball there?
Yeah, I guess he is. I guess he
did he have the ball there? It looks like he did, and then he was almost in the process of getting up.
I think this is just making sure they're right on the call, because it looked like they were correct in calling a completed pass.
I think Hall of Famers should get the benefit of the doubt.
Well, a lot of non-Hall of Famers would argue with you on that one. Actually, just to review, you know, it's a new season here. Inside 2 minutes, the appeal comes from upstairs from the replay booth. It's not an appeal or a challenge by the coaches. And once Jerry Austin looks at that camera and studies it, he's got 90 seconds to make a decision.
But this may not have been a coach's challenge, because inside 2 minutes, the booth upstairs can say, let's take a look at that again. So we're not sure. We'll find out here from Jerry Austin if indeed wants to challenge the play.
After reviewing the play, the call stands as made on the field, completed pass.
And thus, it was a review called upon from the press box. Wannstedt did not challenge it. He does not lose a timeout.
Correct. And they were just verifying what they thought they saw. They had the correct call on the field, and they want to make sure it was right. Remember, that's 2 minutes inside the half or the end of the game is when the instant replay crew upstairs handles all the challenges, doesn't come from the sidelines.
So Minnesota did not use a timeout. They've got all 3 left from the 18-yard line. First down and 10 yards to go for the Vikings. Oh, somebody moved. It looked like Stussy, the left tackle for Minnesota.
They were clearly lined up in a passing mode, both tackles way off the ball.
Well, they might have lost some time there. They were very slow getting that ball off. We're looking at 17 seconds left in the half.
Well, the clock had stopped because of the replay, so they were safe there. Minnesota is just going to lose 5 yards if this is illegal procedure and repeat the first down. And I'm not sure what they'd be talking about now because they threw the flag before the snap, stopped the play.
False start.
It's a false start. And as they're trying to decide if the defense drew them into that false start with some kind of quick motion. But I don't think that happened either. This is a lot of conversation about what looked like a routine play, doesn't it?
On the play, we had a charge timeout to Minnesota while the play was being reviewed. Therefore, the clock should not have started. It should be at 32 seconds.
Very, very
Please
smart.
set the clock to 32 seconds.
Very much on top of it.
We do have
this
a
crew.
false start on 73. That is 5 yards, and it's still first down.
Yeah.
Please put 32 seconds on the clock.
A replay official upstairs is Dick Creed, and of course there's a lot of communication between here in the press box and down in the field, and that's the explanation that Dave Wanstedt is getting right there from Ron Baines, our line judge.
Well, I knew I was watching a clock tick.
Yeah. Well, you're right. The clock, because of the replay, would have stopped. They give them a 25-second clock to start to get their huddle call and get to the line of scrimmage. But the game clock does not tick down, so they go back to the 32 seconds.
Okay, let's play football.
Big play in this drive. Carter's catch, 1st and 15, 7th play of the drive. Time winding down, pocket crumbling. That's a fumble. Unless he threw it ahead, going to be incomplete. But Jason Taylor has picked it up and run. I believe also that Trace Armstrong knocked it away. It was a fumble and recovered by Miami. And again, the Dolphin defense holds out a hard-charging Minnesota offense.
Wide rush, contain, make him run up into the pocket, which they do. And that's when he's stripped loose.
He threw a pass that looked similar to that last week to his tight end, John Davis. But indeed, this was a fumble.
Yeah, look at this contain right here. Now he's going to have to go right straight up through the middle. And that's when Tim Bowens gets his big paw on him right there. Or actually, it was Trace Armstrong.
Trace Armstrong just took his right hand and raked the ball down Dante Culpepper's leg.
And Jason Taylor should have just fallen on that football. You don't want a defensive lineman trying to make a big run back from the 10-yard line.
There's Trace Armstrong, and down is Jason Taylor. So there is an injury timeout on the field here at the Dome in Minneapolis, with again the Dolphin defense paying huge dividends. Minnesota leads on a 28-yard field goal by Gary Anderson. Jason Taylor is still down. He rolled over. Looked like he was going to get up. And you can see right there he is.
Watch he's going to get hit right in the rib cage. Coming from the blind side right there. I don't think he saw it coming. They don't wear flak jackets on the defensive line like a quarterback does.
Nope.
John Davis, the tight end guy.
Jason runs a 4.6 40. He's one of the fastest linemen in the league, so he probably was dreaming about, you know, like 87-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
He could run it.
That's what he was thinking.
6'6".
How about Trace Armstrong? 2.5 sacks last week.
They're going to sit on the ball from the 11-yard line, go to a knee, and run out the clock. Will the Vikings call timeout? They've got 2 remaining. Miami's got a couple. They're going to let the clock run out. So Culpepper was picked off. He's run for over 40 yards in the game. Trace Armstrong moments ago knocked away a ball from Culpepper. So Culpepper has turned it over twice in the first half, with the interception and the fumble moments ago. But the Miami defense, I think, has been a big story. And Dave Wanstedt, who works with this defense a lot in practice, although he's not getting much out of Jay Fiedler, is getting a nice performance out of his Dolphin defense.
2 things, Kevin. defense and special teams.
That's into the first half with Minnesota on top of Miami. 3-0 coming up next. The NASDAQ.com halftime report. After this message and a word from your local CBS station.
CBS Sports presentation of the NASDAQ.com halftime report is sponsored by NASDAQ.com, the information source for the serious investor.
Hi, everybody. Jim Nance with you from our New York studios and the NASDAQ.com halftime report. Joined here by Mike Ditka along with Craig James. And the game that you're enjoying, Miami and Minnesota. And that Vikings defense, Mike, has really shut down Fiedler and company.
Yeah, they surprised me. Either the defense is a lot better than I thought it was, or Miami's offense is a lot worse than I thought it was. And I think it's the latter. They're not doing anything. They only completed 3 passes, I think, or 3 first downs. And rushing is really taken out of there.
And Fiedler has only 27 yards passing in that first half. Elsewhere in the NFL today, how about it? It's Manning and James all over him again here.
Hey, the Colts come out no huddle offense, which makes Oakland have to stay in a base defense. Peyton Manning wearing these guys out. Marcus Pollard over the middle for the touchdown, made it 7-0. They've spread the defense out. Morris doing an excellent job. Now they hand it to Edgerrin James. EJ up the middle for the touchdown, made it 14-0. If it's working, why leave it? They go with Peyton Manning again. This guy can throw the ball. Edgerrin James can catch the football. He can run the football. Darrell Russell, the old Oakland Raider defensive lineman, all that yapping, Mike, not paying off now.
Pay off.
And Colts are threatening to go in again in the final 40 seconds of the first half. Meanwhile, Green Bay and Buffalo and the Packers have been shut down. 4 first downs in the first half. While Rob Johnson's hot, he's thrown a touchdown. He's approaching 200 yards. The Bears and the
Back at the Metrodome here in downtown Minneapolis, Vikings on top 3-0. Miami has not gotten past their own 43-yard line, and Jay Fiedler is 2 of 9 for 27 yards. Not what they expected today.
No, but on defense, they're doing a great job of containing Minnesota. And they're doing it by wide rushes up the field, forcing them to come up the middle. Minnesota, though, shoot themselves in the foot with those penalties.
And Beasley, the Vikings are moving the ball. They just self-destruct with penalties and other things.
Well, I think that's what you expect with a young quarterback. So he's had the 2 miscues. He's just got to settle down. I'm sure Denny Green's talking to him about that.
Let's take a look at the numbers through 30 minutes of football here in the Dome. And anything stand out there?
Well, 3-0, a defensive battle. When you've got Minnesota on the field, you don't usually see that. That stands out a little bit to me. Passing yards, Minnesota way ahead. Jay Fiedler, though, is doing a fine job of controlling the ball game. Time of possession, of course, is as key as anything else. I think special teams, time of possession, field position, all those things relate to each other. Will decide the course of this ball game, the final of this ball game, because we're going to play a close second half as well.
Well, Minnesota has blown a couple of major opportunities. Their special teams pinned Miami back. Then they get the ball around midfield. Right. They're driving, and Dante is stripped by Trace Armstrong. I think that's probably the reason that they had a major opportunity. It could have been 7-3 at that point.
You know, the other thing we mentioned a little bit in passing is that Dante, when he scrambles, has to learn to go ahead and take that sideline, get out of bounds. Don't take the hit that you don't have to take. I don't care if you're 250 or 60 pounds, it wears you down.
And, you know, both of those times he stepped out, he was a few inches away from first down. So, Coach, if he's going to take the hit, I don't want to see him take it across the knee.
No.
You're 270. Take that shoulder and just ram that little defensive back. just
have you no mercy.
Squish him.
Something you don't hear said about quarterbacks. Here's the comparison of the 2 quarterbacks. The bottom line is both of them have done a good job with their team, kept both teams in it.
We begin the second half from the Metrodome. The kickoff by Berger, taken by Brock Marion at the 1-yard line for Miami. He gets a block, finds a hole, breaks a tackle of Banks, and is finally brought down by Jim Nelson, a reserve linebacker. Flag is down.
Special teams penalties. You're so vulnerable because you're in the open field, and you reach out to break that block and you hold.
Holding 28 of the receiving team during the return. 10 yards, first down.
28, Ray Hill.
I tell you, the special teams coach from Miami, Mike Westhoff, once called me about this, and I had said something about how these guys keep holding on every kick. And he told me that the one thing you cannot practice during the week is full speed special teams.
Well, he's right.
And that's why you get these mistakes. So, you know, that's it. You never run down and cover kick full speed in practice.
Gadsden and Martin are the wide receivers. Smith and Conrad, the running backs from the 21. Jay Fiedler, the quarterback for the Dolphins, 1st and 10. And the handoff. And it goes to Smith, brought down by Dwayne Rudd as he works for a gain of 2, bringing up 2nd down and 8. Rudd had an off season last year after being brilliant the year before.
Dwayne Rudd made that play, but I'll tell you what, it was Robert Griffith that made Lamar Smith turn back into Dwayne Rudd. But Dwayne Rudd's one of those smart linebackers. It's another 2 words you don't hear the same sentence very often. But this guy is clever. He's an offensive coach.
Rudd, the 2-time defensive player of the year from the Southeast Conference. 2nd down, long 7. Fiedler, here comes Rudd. There goes Fiedler being chased by Griffith and brought down. Burrow and Griffith. Griffith is the defensive leader and truly one of the most underrated defensive backs in the NFL.
Here's the pressure coming from the outside right here. Fiedler tries to make the fake, and he's going to fake and come back. Not going to be there. Dwayne Rudd. Hold on. Now watch at the end of this. They stand him up, try to strip him loose from the ball. Good fake. Well, nothing there. Get positive yardage back up. Put the ball away, Jay.
Jay Fiedler used to play for the Minnesota Vikings. He had been out of football for 2 years. They invited him to try out, and he did. 3rd down, long 7, plenty of time. Fiedler going deep, and he's got it anywhere, but it's intercepted. Keith Thibodeau.
It is the slot receiver, Bert Emanuel, and Bert has a touchdown. You throw this out front where it's supposed to be, and it's a touchdown. That's a bad throw.
Jay Fiedler throws his first interception as a starting Dolphin quarterback. 2-10 day, not very good, especially in comparison to last week when he was so efficient. Best starting field position today for the Vikings from the 47-yard line, 1st and 10. Dante Culpepper winding up, looking for Moss against Madison. Incomplete. There goes a flag. I think Moss may have shoved away.
I agree with you. I think Moss hooked Madison in order to get around him.
Now they've already called one on Chris Carter today. Now they call one on Moss.
Pass interference, 84 offense, 10 yards. Repeat, 1st down.
And you know what? I think this is the Chris Carter influence, because Chris Carter, Michael Irvin, the retired Michael Irvin, these are big receivers that use their hands a lot. Moss is like a little disciple of Chris Carter, teaching him how to get his position, his space when they battle downfield.
I'll guarantee you Denny Green will argue that Sam Madison had committed the foul right there, though. They were both kind of jostling for position.
5 penalties on the Vikings today, all on Denny Green's offense. Push the ball back now to the 37-yard line of Minnesota, where it's 1st and 20. Tight end Davis in motion. Culpepper. Pass, and Carter says he had it.
Yes, he did. Oh, my goodness.
If he caught that, that's miraculous.
Now, that's what I told you. Remember I told you, I've watched this guy warming up.
Yeah.
He's doing all these drills on the sideline, coach, catching with one hand. I don't believe this.
8-yard gain.
Just a little quick outside move.
No, he didn't. No,
Oh,
he didn't.
I think I'd look at a review on that. You think?
Let me tell you something. He snatched that out of the air like one of those frogs with a long
you had
tongue getting a fly. That was awesome.
2nd down, 12 from the 45. Hand off to Smith. Bottled up in the middle. There goes a flag. Zach Thomas and Daryl Gardner all in the middle. Colts with an easy time on the Oakland Raiders. Jacksonville is toyed with Baltimore in the previous meetings.
Tripping, 73 offense, 10 yards. Repeat, 2nd down.
Baltimore said this is the biggest game in the history of their franchise, and the Chiefs and Titans are tied at 7.
There'll be some grumbling in Cincinnati when they broke for halftime on that one, I can tell you. I can tell you from experience.
Yeah, for personal experience. Huh?
Yeah.
Green Bay getting killed, as is Chicago.
Tampa Bay might be the team.
They're awfully strong.
I love the defense, love everything. On offense, little youth at quarterback, but he's doing okay.
Sean King, 2nd down, 22 from the 35. Culpepper being chased, hit by Armstrong, throws to Klein Saucer, who's brought down immediately. Zach Thomas. No gain.
That's one of those plays where Klein Saucer goes back to the hole and says, "Thanks a lot, pal." What did you expect me to do with that?
Klein Saucer, a former tight end.
Listen to what this sounds like when Zach Thomas hits you. Like driving a nail in a 2x4.
It's like a bulldog.
3rd and 22.
You got the backside. You got him. It's trip.
3-man rush.
On the 35, Culpepper gets a good block from Stringer. There goes a flag. Ball tapped by Moss. Incomplete. Flag is down at the 37-yard line.
You know, Kevin, that's the 2nd time that Randy Moss looks like he's gotten mad at Dante Culpepper for overthrowing him.
See, and I thought Carter got mad at him last week for not throwing to him enough.
They're breaking him in right.
Yeah, they are
Holding
in his face.
Defense, 29. Automatic first down.
So Sam Madison picks it up. That was a 3rd and 22 play.
And you can hold 1 yard down the field and you get all 22. Or actually, you get the first down. You don't get all 22 yards, but you get 10 yards in the first down.
Klein Saucer back in for Davis, the tight end. First and 10 from the 40. Blitz from the top of the screen. And that is caught by the tight end, Jordan. It's a gain of 9. Tackle made by Brock Marion. Jordan was benched in the 2nd half of last week's game because of a couple of dropped passes against Chicago.
Well, they made a good catch there, and that was a hot read. When that strong safety blitzes, Dante Culpepper read it, throw it right to where the blitz is coming from. That's the tight end. Tight end breaks it off quick.
Well, this is a real confidence builder for Dante Culpepper. Just to know that you can, I mean, that's the most critical thing that a quarterback has to do. He's got to make changes, he's got to read blitzes, and he did it there.
2nd down and 1. And Klein Saucer. Tackled by Jason Taylor. It's good to see him back in the game. He was ruffled up earlier in the contest. Klein Saucer bulldozes his way for 7 yards.
Again, wide splits. Gives him a chance to run up the middle. There's only one backer there. They get a hat on him. Actually, it's Zach Thomas. They get a hat on him, but he still gets a hat on Klein Saucer. They'll continue to go right up the middle, Kevin, as long as they keep these wide splits and only one backer in the middle. Yeah, outnumbered.
First downs by the Vikings. 1st and 10 from the 44. Swings a pass as Culpepper looking for Moss. Incomplete pass. Patrick Surtain came and broke it up. 2nd down and 10.
Well, you take a look at this duo. 90 receptions last season for Carter. 80 for Randy Moss. These guys over 1,000. They expect big-time games every week. And that's why you see both of these guys getting in Dante Culpepper's face. They feel like it's incumbent upon them to help his development.
Carter's got 4 catches. Moss has 2. 2nd down and 10. Fires a pass. Intercepted. Picked off by Brian Walker. And a pass intended on the sideline for the tight end, Andrew Jordan. The 3rd turnover today for 2nd-year quarterback Dante Culpepper.
Ball's going to come right off the side.
This just can't happen. You got to concentrate.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of the Super Bowl. Mitsubishi Motors, the 2000 Galant, wake up and drive. And by Coors Light, proud partner of the John Wayne Cancer Institute and their search for a cure.
Dante Culpepper's turned it over 3 times, 2 interceptions, 1 fumble. Picked off moments ago by Walker. It's 1st and 10, Miami at their own 39. Right to work goes Jay Fiedler to the sideline. He's got the receiver, and it's Tony Martin who's wrestled out of bounds at about the 45, and the Dolphins have their first down since 12 minutes left in the second quarter. That's a gain of 16.
You know, this really is the first perfect play, Coach, by this team. Well blocked. He's got all the time in the world. It's a good pattern on the outside. It's a step and throw.
And a little bit of a blitz, leaving man-to-man coverage down the field. Right on the sideline. You want to bring him back a little bit. Jay Fiedler looks like he's been there a long time when he's still a young quarterback.
On the Viking 45, it's Miami 1st down and 10 after the 16-yard gain by Martin on his first catch of the day. Handoff goes to Smith, and not much room up the middle. A host of Vikings plug up the middle of the field. Kylie Long was there along with Talent Sawyer, 97. And while you watch the game, log on to NFL.com and track the stats of your favorite players today.
I'm there every day.
Yeah.
Of course, it's my business, but I'm there every day.
That's good.
It makes it easy. I mean, if I'm a fan, I go there.
2nd down 9, and the Dolphins just inside the Viking 45. Fiedler has gone 3 of 11 today passing. And not been in Viking territory very often. A block by Conrad buys time for Fiedler. The pocket crumbled, incomplete to Tony Martin.
Well, it looked like Tony Martin wasn't expecting a pass. He was blocking downfield like a run. Robert Griffith on the blitz. Didn't give any time for that pass to develop.
The Vikings don't normally do a lot of bump and running. And the last few pressure moments, they've lined up and bump and run across the board with a safety up high. And they're doing it again now.
Fiedler facing 3rd down and 9 inside the Viking 45. Thurman Thomas is in the game. Thurman Thomas was being thrown through along with Leslie Shepard. Their routes intersected. Thomas was beneath. Shepard was double covered on top. I don't know who Fiedler was going to. Shepard got his hands on it regardless. Incomplete on the play as Keith Thibodeau was defending Shepard.
Thibodeau had good coverage, and there was what's called a lurk. Robert Griffith just laying inside all over that pass.
I love that. That's got to be the greatest secondary job in the world, lurk. You know, you're about 12 to 15 yards deep. You're a hard read on the quarterback.
On that Turk to punt, David Palmer back to retrieve it. And landing a foot inside the end zone. 44-yard punt by Turk. So there's Thibodeau, who had his first career interception earlier in this game. It's the Vikings by 3. Dolphin defense has not allowed a touchdown in 6.5 quarters. Minnesota's on top 3-0. Coming up next on CBS, U.S. Open Men's Championship Tennis from Flushing Meadows. It's 1st and 10 for the Vikings at their own 20-yard line. Culpepper, right to work on 1st down. Goes the pass, and it's hauled in by Chris Carter. Working on Wilson, got Madison as well. 16-yard gain. Carter picks up his 5th reception of the day.
At Carter right here in the middle. This is Randy Moss out here going down the field, and Carter in the middle. Double coverage. Watch these safeties. Dante Culpepper reads it correctly. Right across the chute.
Well, that's the weak spot against that double coverage, is right across the middle, and Dante read it well. 5
catches today for Carter, 101 yards, his 36th career 100-yard receiving game. From the 36, 1st and 10, the fake handoff to Smith. Culpepper buys time for Moss. The catch made at the 44-yard line, tackled by Brock Marion. And it's a gain on the play of 21 yards.
Well, Brock Marion had to stay in the middle because that time John Davis was going right down the center. The corner rolls up. And actually, Randy Moss just settles in there. He could see that Brock Marion was coming. So don't lead him into coverage. Good throw by Culpepper as well. These guys look like they played together for years. I mean, they do read each other. I know they spend a lot of time in practice, but it's showing up in the field.
Miami's 43, Vikings 1st and 10. Robert Smith cutting and slashing and finally brought down. Jason Taylor, Rich Owens, and Sam Madison make the tackles.
You know, Coach, you just talked about Culpepper and Moss and Carter looking like they played it. They all went down to South Florida last year with several of these Vikings, and they worked out all the time. Carter was like the head coach of the entire group, and he's so hard on them, they call it tough love. So they have spent a lot of time getting his timing down.
You mean all those times we were preaching as coaches you need to work out in the offseason was right?
You were right.
2nd down 8, Vikings at the Dolphin 41. Blitz is on. Culpepper hit once. Gets away from Walker. Goes to the end zone for Moss, and it's incomplete. Patrick Surtain was in the end zone with Moss. Incomplete pass. Surtain thinks it was interference again on Moss. What do you think?
Let's watch it.
Well, I think it is. See, watch him right when he explodes. Right there.
Right there.
You're right.
And that's the Chris Carter influence. I'm telling you, Michael Irvin, these big receivers, they practice that because they know the call usually goes against the defense. But this crew, this officiating crew today has been right on the money. I mean, they've called 2 against the offense, is my point.
Yeah. Which you don't see that much.
No, you don't see much. You don't see that.
3rd down and 8. Vikings at the Dolphin 41. Culpepper again, given time to the sideline, threw it away. Flag on the near side. Madison was covering Walsh, and a flag thrown as the two were jousting on the near sideline.
They brought 5 rushers that time, 6 rushers on the play before. They're giving Dante Culpepper a different look every time he breaks a huddle.
There's a flag for illegal contact, but the pass had already been thrown to the other side, so there is no penalty. 4th down.
Good call.
These guys are good.
Keep the play going. No factor. And here's what I think is a factor, though, is the kicking game. Every time the ball has been punted, it's backed up their opponent, with the exception of the last time Miami kicked it and barely went in the end zone. Here comes a rush from Miami now.
Berger to punt. Jeff Ogden is deep back at the 10-yard line for Miami. Ben Kelly not playing today. A flag has been thrown. They're caught back at the 12, and that's why they have him back there, because he's got great hands. A 29-yard punt by Berger and a good one. Flag is down at the 42.
Miami may have lined up offsides trying to get the edge. I'd say 2 flags, though.
Prior to the kick, we have holding, 59 of the kicking team. Offside, 29 of the receiving team. They both occurred prior to the kick, so they offset. Replay 4th down.
Greg Sauer on the Vikings and Sam Madison on the Dolphins.
See, I'd love to put one of those heart rate measuring units on these head coaches.
Well, you put one on that guy right there, I'll tell you. Dave Wannstedt is, well, Denny Green's the same way.
Yeah,
they're both up and down the sideline. They're playing as if they're in the ball game themselves.
So Berger to punt once again.
Miami looks like they lined up offsides again to me. Real close.
Jason Taylor on the near side, you're right. High hanging punt, not as good as the first. Ogden with the catch at the 20-yard line. Jeff Ogden's out of Eastern Washington. Acquired in a trade with Dallas this preseason. Timeout, 3rd quarter for Minneapolis.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Nextel, how business gets done. And by MasterCard. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard.
It's a beautiful day in Minneapolis, St. Paul. Vikings on top. They're trying to get a new stadium in this city. They can't renovate this stadium. They need a new stadium. And that is the goal of Red McCombs, the owner of the Vikings and the franchise. 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Friedland, short drop, quick throw. Martin has it. Jousting with Dishman, who pulls him down after a 1st down gain of 13 yards. Let's send it off to Fifth Avenue and Jim Nance.
All right, thank you, Kevin. At Baltimore, the Ravens, Banks has hooked up for the second time with the rookie first-round pick out of Florida, Travis Taylor. It's now an 8-point game, Jags in front. Let's go back to Kevin up in Minnesota.
Well, if Baltimore would win, they'd go to 2-0. They shut out Pittsburgh last week. Jacksonville with a convincing win over Cleveland. Here it's 1st and 10. Good block by Conrad. Time for the quarterback Fiedler and dropped at the 50-yard line by Martin. 2 drops today by the Miami Dolphins.
Well, that's a shame. Fiedler did a great job here. He held the safeties. I mean, he visibly, clearly looked off to his left, moving the safeties over, giving his receiver time to get open, and the guy drops the ball.
That was the old zone blitz defense. That time the defensive lineman, John Burrow, dropped off, took 1 step, dropped into coverage. Looks like blitz, but they're playing zone.
2nd down and 10. Miami at their own 33. Fiedler with time, good block by Dixon. That pass is on the money and caught this time by Tony Martin for 21 yards. It's a 1st down. He was working on Griffith, and a guy who began his career with Miami and then has gone other places is back with the Dolphins with the 1st down catch there.
This is double in. Go ahead, Beasley.
Well, like you say, double in, and they're running a lot of this for some reason, and they are long patterns too, Coach. You know, when your eye is accustomed to watching the new trend of West Coast, to see these guys running 15, 7-yard patterns, I think is refreshing.
Fiedler today 5 of 16. 1st and 10. Pass caught by Rondé Gadsden. There goes a flag. Gadsden still on his feet as he breaks a tackle from both Dishman and Rudd, and he was finally hauled down at about the 40-yard line, but a flag thrown as soon as he caught the pass. 7 yards as it stands now.
Pass interference, offense 86, 10 yards, repeat 1st down.
I can't recall an NFL game where I've seen 3 offensive pass interference calls.
I have absolutely never seen it. It too is refreshing.
Yeah, it is.
Let me tell you something. These guys have been pushing off for years. Maybe the league is making. Look at this. Well, that's pretty clear.
Well, that was quick.
Oh.
Hush up. You don't
Okay.
tell you about that.
That was a pretty good push there.
How about Miami, though? They're moving right on down the field. They've had 8 possessions, 5 of them starting inside the 20 or worse. Until that penalty, though, they worked themselves out of that last hole.
Well, before this drive, they had only 4 first downs. So this Miami offense, a shell of what they did against the Seahawks last week.
Good point. 1st and 20 with the penalty back to the Dolphin 44. Blitz is on by Wong. Picked up by Miami. The pass incomplete. It's dropped. They were looking for Leslie Shepard at about the Viking 37-yard line. Incomplete pass, 2nd down, and tonight on CBS is the Texas way, George Bush's way, the best way to test school children before promoting them to the next grade. Tonight on 60 Minutes. Then a powerful new Touched by an Angel, and then the CBS Sunday movie Under Siege. Tommy Lee Jones. All tonight on CBS.
Under Siege is a sequel to this ball game right here, because I guarantee you, both offenses have felt the siege. Shepard has had 5 balls thrown to him and hadn't caught one yet in this ball game.
2nd down, 20. Dolphins shy of their 44. Shepard in motion. Fake handoff to Shepard by Fiedler. Sets up the screen to Smith. Got a block from Conrad. Got a block from Dixon. And picks up yardage to the 44-yard line. A 12-yard pickup with one good Dolphin block after another.
I love this place, Coach.
Well, very similar to the one that Minnesota ran earlier in the ball game, but it is all the blocking. You've got to set it up. Remember, they can't block downfield until the ball is thrown. Once a catch, you see the block sealing off inside. There's going to be another good hit right there. And he's off to the races. Look at this pursuit down the field. That's terrific. That's your offensive lineman still playing football 15 yards down the field.
Good job by our director, Mark Grant, and our producer, Bob Degas. Timeout taken by Minnesota. 3:22 to play here in the 3rd. Vikings got a first quarter field goal. That's been it scoring-wise. Timeout. And the Miami Dolphins in the midst of a 5-play drive. Great pass receiving on the drive by receiver Tony Martin. Gains of 13 yards and 21 yards. It's 3rd and 8. Dolphins at the Viking 44. Fiedler. Good block by Webb. Here comes Fiedler. Has to get to the 36. A flag is down. There goes the run. Good for a first down now to the 31-yard line of the Vikings. A 14-yard gain, but as I said, a flag is out.
Holding, 65 offense, 10 yards, repeat third down.
Kevin Donnelly's second penalty on him today.
Donnelly's a great story, though. He was released in training camp back in June, had the big contract, cap cut. Then they came back and signed him for the NFL minimum of $440,000, and in the interim they signed Heath Irwin to a big contract, who basically Kevin Donnelly's come back and beat him out of the position. So that's what the competition's all about, really, is to get the best you can in the lineup, regardless of that contract.
With the penalty, third down and 18. Dolphins outside their own 45. Fake handoff to Thomas, who offers a block. Here comes Fiedler. He has to get to the 36, and he's tackled from behind by Thibodeau. Keith Thibodeau's had a nice game. His first career interception, a couple of tackles, a gain of 9, and he holds Fiedler far short of a first down. And so Miami's got to punt the ball.
That's why on passing downs, you put those smaller defensive backs in, take those linebackers out, and make that open field hit.
Matt Turk to punt. They got him in a trade with Washington, and deep back is David Palmer. Turk will get this maybe inside the 10, and he does with the great punt at the 6-yard line. A beauty by the three-time Pro Bowler Matt Turk. 39-yard kick. Next Saturday on the Home Depot College football, the Florida Gators tangle with the Tennessee Volunteers in the Southeast Conference, or Joe Paterno's Penn State Nittany Lions battle the Pitt Panthers, all beginning with the College Football Today show at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS. One of the best. They had Tommy Hutton a season ago. They weren't happy with him. They traded for Turk, and here he is. And he has nailed the Vikings, stranded back at their 6.
Both teams have had as good a special teams day as I think a football team can have. They developed field position for their team.
Culpepper hands off, and it goes to Robert Smith. Great jump by Kenny Mixon. Second time today that he has leapt through that line, accelerated, and got the guy for a loss. No gain there.
Well, one of the great things for Dante Culpepper last week was the fact that they could, they had a lot of success running the ball on Seattle. Now he's forced to try to make some throws because they're not having as much success running against this Miami defense.
In fact, Robert Smith for the Vikings, 10 carries, 35 yards. Second down and 10. Inside the Vikings 6. Mixon again blocked, and here comes Moss. He gets by Jones. He's whacked by Bromell and tackled by Marion. Close to a first down. Moss didn't like the hit. As you take a look at Dante Culpepper, who's turned it over himself 3 times today.
Well, this is just gorgeous. I mean, it's a good throw, a little bit high, but it's still a good throw. He doesn't have to slow down. I don't like the fact that Moss doesn't turn it right upfield and, get another 3 or 4 yards. I guess, Coach, like you said earlier, he thinks he can run all the way across the field and then turn up and run a touchdown like he did when he was in college.
I always coach my guys. You make the catch, immediately take positive, go up the field, and make your move after that.
16-yard line, first and 10. Tackle made by Tim Bowens on Robert Smith.
One of the reasons, though, in their last tackle, Lorenzo Bromell was in the ballgame because of his speed. They brought him in because of Culpepper. And, of course, crossing routes like that, then he could fall off and make a play. This guy's got linebacker speed playing in the defensive line.
He was inactive last week.
Right. One of the changes they made for this team is part of the strategy of getting ready for each week.
Well, he runs a 4.6. Everybody runs a 4.6.
Yeah, but it's only a 38-yard 40.
If you listen to Coach Wanstead, all of his linemen run 4.6.
Second down, 8. Vikings at their 18. Stringer block. Time for Culpepper. The throw caught again by Chris Carter. That's his 6th catch of the day. He was working on Wilson, 24. Thomas was in the vicinity. 13-yard gain. That will take us to the end of the 3rd quarter. Vikings have moved the ball all day. It's been Miami's defense, which has now not allowed a touchdown in 7 quarters this season. We'll return to the Metrodome right after this message and a word from your local CBS station. We begin the fourth quarter. Minnesota 1st and 10, just inside their 31. Looks like he's changing the play.
Sees the blitz coming. There it is.
Clock running down. Here comes the blitz at Culpepper. Throws a pass to Moss. Surtain was there. No flag, no yellow, incomplete pass.
That was close.
I'll tell you what, that was close to being pass interference. It was also close to being a touchdown. Boy, this is a dangerous situation that the Miami defense puts itself in. You get one-on-one with this guy with that much room to operate, it's usually something very bad. That is superior defensive play by Surtain. Takes the right hand and strips at the perfect time.
Let's see, that's one vote for you and 65,000 for Minnesota.
And you hear the boo as I was saying, spectacular play.
It was a good, I'll tell you what, it was a good audible by Dante Culpepper. He read that.
3-0 here, Minnesota. Oakland has come back to tie the Colts on second down. Pass is caught by Chris Carter, close to a first down, gain of 9. To the 40, he was dueling with Brock Marion. Can you believe the Raiders have come back to tie the Colts? And Baltimore's coming back, and Kansas City has got a lead for the first time today on Tennessee.
First couple of weeks of this season have been about as competitive as you could ask for in the National Football League. Games going right down to the wire.
Green Bay and Buffalo. Packers have got a big vote in Green Bay coming up Tuesday for the renovation of their stadium. And who would have thought Chicago would get blasted like that in Tampa? Chicago played well here last week against the Vikings. 3rd and inches from the 41. Culpepper on the quarterback keeper. And he got it.
You know, I predicted Culpepper would go 100% on these 3rd and inches throughout the year.
Hey, boy, you're really stepping out on the plate there, Beasley.
Somebody write that down.
Odds on that, or are you just tuning it up?
Somebody write that down.
Culpepper was not only the #1 rated quarterback in the Vikings' eyes last draft, he was the #1 overall player in the draft in their view last year.
Remember, they passed on Javon Curse. Later took to Demetrius Underwood, who didn't pan out, went down to Miami short times, now with Dallas. But the quarterback picture panned out.
He was the 4th of the 5 quarterbacks taken, the 11th pick overall, thus the number 11 he wears. First down for Culpepper. Fires a laser beam up to Chris Carter. A first down, gain of 12 to the Dolphin 46.
I think Chris Carter might be the best in the game. I mean, this guy, he catches the bad ball. A bad ball receiver is one of the greatest compliments you can give a wide out. That's a bad ball.
You notice the way he caught it, too. His hip turned back, got his arms back. 10 passes his way, 8 catches today for Chris Carter.
On the Dolphin 46. Minnesota, which started this drive at their 6, gives it off to Robert Smith. And tackled from behind by Brock Marion. Otherwise, he was looking at 6.
They've been testing that inside all day long.
13-yard gain.
Look how wide these tackles are. Going to hit right up between them. There comes the blitz from the inside. They get a hat on that one, Kleinsaucer. And is that what Dave Wanstead said he lost sleep Wednesday night over? Called a special meeting on Thursday. Stop Robert Smith.
And, Coach, he would not have come down except for they grabbed his face mask. That's one that the officials made. They grabbed it and let it go very quickly. But that's the only reason he stopped.
10th play of the drive. Vikings at the Dolphin 33. Smith again. Held on to by Bowens and Bromell. Gain of 2.
They're pounding the middle. Look for that bootleg here any minute. Something outside with the quarterback. They're slowly but surely pulling those defensive linemen in tighter and tighter for the Miami Dolphins.
So it's a technique, huh, Coach? It's 45-degree angle that they are lining the Dolphins in.
Well, it gives them a chance to look right down the line there and then get wider and still see the ball.
Hasn't Miami's defense been great this season?
Wow, look at that.
Second down 8. Here comes the blitz from Walker. Picked up. Culpepper's got man-to-man with Moss. Coverage applied by Surtain, incomplete. You know, we keep talking about Sam Madison, but really Patrick Surtain has played a very good game today in the secondary for the Dolphins.
Well, he's in perfect position I mean, you got to be scared to death if you're playing. Look at that. It's a beautiful position. You know, Randy Moss jumps just a little bit too soon because he certainly could have hung up there. The worst thing that can happen to you is an underthrow from the quarterback, and that's what that was. But Surtain was in great position.
They've actually tried to get the ball to Randy Moss. They've thrown in his direction 8 times. He's only got 4 catches, and 3 of the 4 he got mad at the quarterback. So,
well, see, I think if you just keep throwing it at random, you'll get a touchdown here in a minute.
3rd down 8. Vikings at the Dolphin 31. Good block by Stussy. There's the pass. Batted down. Incomplete. Jerry Wilson got in the way. He plays the nickel, and he was right in the way of Chris Carter. Let's send it off to 5th Avenue in New York, and here's Jim Nance.
Well, Kev, Dante Culpepper's not the only guy who can rush for 3 touchdowns from the quarterback position. Rich Gannon, for the 3rd time today, takes it in. They've come back from 17 down. Let's go back to Minnesota.
Well, the first 2 teams for John Gruden at Oakland, a little inconsistent 2 years ago and last season. They won last week, and they're trying to win a big game on the road against the Colts. A 49-yard field goal try by Anderson is good. Gary Anderson is now 37 points away from the NFL's all-time scoring leader.
he's incredible, and he's timeless.
6-0 Minnesota.
Yes.
13-play drive by Minnesota. Chris Carter had 3 catches on that drive, and the subsequent kickoff by Berger after the 49-yard field goal by Anderson, picked up by Brock Marion, gets away from Thibodeau and is finally brought down almost at the last second by Nelson, the linebacker. A 45-yard return by Brock Marion. He's had a couple today. Dolphin defense has held Minnesota out. Timeout for the Dolphin offense.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by NASDAQ.com. Everything about everything for serious investors. Mazda. Get in, be moved. And by Budweiser, with the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer.
Miami's defense has only given up 2 field goals today. Best starting position now for their offense, just outside the Dolphin 43. Jay Fiedler, 1st down and 10. Fake handoff to Thomas. The throw downfield is caught. Martin with the gain of 18 yards to the Viking 38-yard line.
Another zone blitz. They came with a blitz look. Kenny Wright came from the other side, the defensive back. Defensive lineman dropping off. Well read that time by Jay Fiedler. Both these young quarterbacks are doing a good job reading defensive pressure.
Deepest penetration of the day for the Miami offense. Thurman Thomas in the game from the 39 of the Vikings. Miami 1st down and 10. Blitzers on by Wong, picked up by Thomas. The throw outside is caught again by Tony Martin. He lassos this pass close to a 1st down. He's to the 31, picking up 7 yards on the play.
Exact same coverage. Now he's just going to pivot and slide back to the outside. His turn, and then the ball pulls him away.
You know, they have been working to Chris Dishman's side a lot in this football game as I watch Dishman cover. You know, he's a real veteran, been in the game a long time, so veteran out of Purdue, and they're looking at him, and they're challenging him to see if he can still play.
He was cut by Kansas City on the final let go. 2nd down, long 2. Dolphins at the Viking 31. Good block by Smith. The pass is short and almost uncatchable by Conrad, who was picked up by Wong. Incomplete pass. It'll be 3rd down. Kylie Wong.
Just a quick token fake. Taylor Sawyer gave quick pressure to the quarterback. Really didn't give any time for anything to develop downfield for him. But they have field position right now. They are just about in field goal range.
What would you call here on 3rd and short, Sam?
Well, they're going to throw the football. They've been throwing it all day long. But they're in that run formation, so this could be play action.
It's 3rd down and 2. The blitz is on. Fiedler hit and brought down. Spectacular play with McDaniel and Rudd and Wong. All three linebackers. And because of that sack, they probably knocked Miami out of field goal range to the disgust of Dave Wanstead.
Well, they did knock him out, and the reason is they went to the play action that I just mentioned. Play action, the quarterback turns away. He can't really get that quick escape.
Coach, the timing here is impeccable. The timing of this blitz was so perfect that they had no time to react.
Miami has missed their last 6 third downs. 4th and 10 right now. Here goes the punt. Caught by Palmer. Should have let it go at the 8-yard line. 29-yard punt. Anything inside the 10, you're supposed to let go. What a great play by Kylie Wong and the Viking linebackers. Kylie Wong came up with a great defensive play, sacking Jay Fiedler, knocking Miami out of field goal range. Now from the 9. Culpepper on 1st and 10, hands off to Robert Smith. No place to go, and tackled on the play by Derek Rogers, 58.
Coach, you said something a few minutes ago that made me nervous. You said it about the 12-13 mark that both of these teams might get the ball maybe 3 more times.
That's about right.
Now we're down at the 9-minute mark. Maybe a couple more times apiece, these offenses have a chance to put something on the board. It's a 6-0 game.
Unless you get the long drive, Minnesota's got a chance. They've started from their own 6 and their own 9 the last few times they've had the ball.
2nd down and 9 at the 10. Culpepper has turned it over 3 times today. Here comes Kenny Mixon. Culpepper on the move, hit by Bowens, throws a pass. The tackle is made on the tight end, John Davis, by Scott Gallion, who is picked up primarily as a special teamer from the New York Giants in the offseason. Tonight on 60 Minutes, is the Texas way, George Bush's way, the best way to test school children before promoting them to the next grade? All tonight on 60 Minutes.
John Davis is the answer to a trivia question, too. Who caught the first pass thrown by Dante Culpepper? Tight end John Davis did last week.
Sam.
Yeah, just a song for you there.
Shy of the 15, 3rd down and 4. Blitz from the corner. Blocked by Stussy. Time for Culpepper. Throws a pass. Incomplete. Chris Carter was on the side. The coverage was applied by Brock Marion. Incomplete pass. There he is, complaining again to Culpepper. Incomplete. And they got a punt deep in their own zone.
That wasn't Dante Culpepper's fault, though. The pressure was quick from Zach Thomas up the middle. Miami's strategy here in the second half, especially in the 4th quarter, has been to kind of pull those linebackers in the middle now, shut off that running game, and give them a better chance to blitz to the inside.
Carter's over there screaming at Culpepper. Berger the punt. A beauty.
Get out of bounds.
Leslie Shepard is deep back. He'll get this at the 30-yard line for the Dolphins. He could really use a good return. But Harold Morrow and Mo Williams, 2 reserve running backs, make the tackle. 55-yard punt, 8-yard return.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by IBM, taking e-business and your business to the next level. And by Honda, the world's most popular ATVs. Honda, best on earth.
Another capacity crowd inside the Metrodome here in downtown Minneapolis. 2 Viking field goals of 28 and 49 yards. Miami's defense has not allowed a touchdown all season. Offense has struggled today. Fiedler is 8 of 21. He has thrown an interception from his 38, 1st and 10. Fake handoff to Smith. There's a block by Dixon. There goes a pass for Emmanuel. Oh, he almost snared it. Incomplete pass. Had it, didn't control it, coughed it up, incomplete. 2nd down and 10.
And that's where the interpretation of the rule over from last year, you've got to have possession before. After it touches the ground, you've got to still have possession afterwards. Obviously, he doesn't have possession. The ball comes loose. But the ground doesn't cause the fumble right here, so it's an incomplete pass.
Beasley, I think you said it before, they're going to Dishman almost every play.
Yeah, they are testing Dish. You know, this is a 13-year man at the corner, so it makes sense to test him. He was in good position there. That was a great throw.
2nd down and 10. Fiedler throws incomplete. I don't know who he was going to. Smith was at about the 35. There was a receiver, Tony Martin, about 10 yards, 15 yards away. It's incomplete.
Yeah, he was going at Martin and Dishman again, and the ball got knocked down. Look at Cleveland.
And Buffalo.
I expected as much from Buffalo. Expected that from Tampa Bay.
See, I didn't today. I thought Chicago would hang tough like they did on the road last week here against Minnesota.
I thought they would too, Kevin.
I didn't expect Philadelphia getting bombed, though.
Not at home.
And look at Baltimore coming back on Jacksonville. It's 3rd and 10 from the 38. Thurman Thomas is in. Here comes Ed McDaniel. Oh, he got Fiedler.
The guy they worried about was right here coming up, Robert Griffith, but the guy that makes the play, there he is, Ed McDaniel coming off the corner.
Punt by Turk. Palmer at the 20-yard line and brought down. Nice special teams play. Hill, 28, was down there in a hurry and hobbles after he makes the grab. 49-yard punt. This fall on CBS. Meet the men and women of crime scene investigation. If you're a victim of crime, they're your best hope for justice. William Peterson, starring in a side of crime involving things you've never seen before. CSI premiering Friday, October 6th on CBS.
You know, I bet Robert Smith is going to like that show. He talked about enjoying the true science.
Yes.
The pure science. He's a very smart young man. I bet he'll enjoy that show. Worked in research labs and things like that in the offseason.
On the 21st and 10. Robert Smith. Grabbed by Gardner. Jason Taylor. Gain of 4. 2nd down and 6 upcoming.
You're going to see the defense of Miami more and more standing up the receivers, standing up Robert Smith, and trying to strip the ball loose. We're working our way down now towards the end of this ball game. They need the turnover.
See, Coach, you made me nervous earlier when you said it now, because I didn't think that way. You're right. I mean, these guys had like 2 possessions apiece to get something done, and Miami didn't get it done.
349 yards and only 6 points for the Dolphins, or rather for the Vikings.
143 from Miami.
24-yard line, 2nd down, 6. Caught by John Davis. Breaks a tackle at Brock Marion. Got a block downfield from Moss. Finally caught up 2 by Brian Walker and taken down. At the Miami Dolphins 39-yard line on what may be one of the biggest plays of the day for Minnesota.
Is John Davis going to get the starting job next week? I'll tell you. Reach the blitz. Brock Marion misses the tackle. That's a big man moving down the field.
Tell you what I like at the end of it, watching cover with both hands. He's already said, I've made a big play. Don't let them pull this ball out. They've been trying to pull the ball out, like you mentioned earlier, Coach, from the other guys. He covered up with both arms.
Well, Miami tried to gamble, and it didn't pay off. 5 catches today by tight ends from Minnesota.
Dolphin 39, Vikings 1st and 10. Good block by McWilliams, the tight end to the 10-yard line. A great catch is made by Chris Carter. He'll be down at the 7-yard line. 1st and goal, Minnesota Vikings.
He may be the best in the game.
9 catches today for Carter. He's been spectacular, 169 yards. And he beat Sam Madison.
Coach, he catches it in a crowd. He catches the bad ball. This guy's fantastic.
Well, Dante Culpepper, too, though, did a good job of just putting it out there. There were 2 cover guys in the area. He trusted his receivers to make the catch.
1st and 10. Make it 1st and goal from the 7. And it was batted down and intercepted. It's picked off by the Dolphins. Picked off by Tim Bowens. After the ball was deflected on a rush into the face of Dante Culpepper. His 4th turnover today, his 3rd interception.
Well, you knew they were going to go outside sooner or later. He's going to try to come this way. Here's Bowens. There's the bat. Telegraph the throw, Beasley.
You know what, Coach? If you're a golfer, you understand course management. I think this is bad course management by Minnesota. The field goal is automatic. It forces Miami to score twice. I run this ball. I certainly tell Dante, if you don't like it, just drop your 270 shoulder and get what you can and lie down. That's bad course management.
Rich Owens deflected the pass from the 11, 1st and 10. Flag is down. He overshoots Conrad in the flat, covered by Dishman. Flag has been thrown. Incomplete pass as we stand now. Rich Owens is the one who got in the face of Culpepper and set up that interception for Miami.
See, that's young quarterback mistake.
12 men on defense, 5 yards. It's still first down.
Quick turnover like that, defense quickly on the field. Didn't quite get the call. What personnel was on or off? Denny, I know the feeling, baby.
Well, I'm still surprised by the play when, though they may win this game, they had it won. If you call a run or if you tell Dante, don't throw it unless you know it.
1st down and 5 on the 16. Fiedler wanting to go deep. Pocket crumbles. Gets away from Hovan. Throws outside to Conrad. Again misses him. Coverage by Kylie Wong. Second and 5. Oh my, look at the Raiders have gone on top of the Indianapolis Colts.
Look at Baltimore.
What a comeback. What an incredible comeback.
I expected Baltimore to play well, and Jacksonville was supposed to be having offensive line trouble, but they're playing okay.
Second down and 5, 16-yard line. Fiedler sets, blitzes on, pass to the side is one hopped, incomplete. Looking for Tony Martin, and the coverage applied by Robert Tate, the converted wide receiver. Now to a defensive back, and John Randall was playing some tenacious up the middle rush.
You know, people might ask, why at 1st and 5 would you not just run the ball? The crowd noise here is so loud down in the corner. It's much easier for a blocker, a pass blocker, to sit back after the snap of the ball than to fire out with a run block. So they chose to go down the field with throws. Miami has only 3 runs in this half.
3rd down and 5 from the 16. Fiedler down the sideline, triple teamed is Shepard, incomplete. He had Thomas, Thibodeau, and Tate. 3 Vikings draped all over the receiver. Leslie Shepard, incomplete pass. And Jay Fiedler will trudge to the sideline after having missed his last 6 consecutive passes.
This is just so quick up in the air. Go ahead, Dave.
Hey, Coach, don't you think that Jay just dropped this thing right on the button? This is great defensive play. Look at the crowd. I mean, that was just a perfect throw. And the DBs, all 3 DBs meeting at the ball.
Flag has been thrown. Turk's ball is out of bounds. But a flag is down.
I think they made it 12 men on the field again.
Number 42 of the offense went out of bounds untouched. That penalty is declined. First down, Minnesota.
Frustrated Dave Weinstedt. These 2 teams do share one memorable moment in NFL history. Super Bowl 8, held at Rice Stadium down in Houston. Larry Zonka powered the Dolphins to their 2nd consecutive Super Bowl title with 145 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns in the Dolphins' 24-7 victory over Minnesota. Culpepper's turned it over 4 times, including 3 interceptions with the ball and his 46. 1st and 10. 6-0 on 2 Gary Anderson field goals is all Minnesota's been mustering today. Dale Gardner stops Robert Smith after a gain of 2.
Well, we're inside 4 minutes, so eat the clock up if you're Minnesota. Stand the ball carrier up if you're Miami and try to strip it loose for the turnover.
This is where Robert Smith will make his money.
Miami still has 3 timeouts. They're going to start using them on defense here very quickly, probably after this down. Minnesota taking plenty of time in the huddle. I always like my guys to take a little more time at the line of scrimmage in the huddle in case something came up there. At least you were ready to go.
2nd down, 7 shy of the 49. Blitz, you bet. Robert Smith. Grabbed and brought down. A host of Dolphin defenders are there, including Zach Thomas. Couple defensive linemen. Timeout taken. 2 remaining now for Miami with 3:01 to play in the game. Well, we've got a timeout here. Let's send it to Jim Nantz up on 5th Avenue in New York.
All right, thank you, guys. A thriller at Tennessee, and with Steve McNair out of the game with a chest bruise, Neil O'Donnell has come in, hooked up with Yancey Thigpen in the last minute to tie the game at 14. And let's go back up to Minnesota.
Thank you, Jim. Tennessee was unbeaten at home a season ago, 8-0. And with McNair out because of a chest bruise, O'Donnell is in.
Well, that doesn't hurt Tennessee. O'Donnell had a great run last year at quarterback.
He's been a proven quarterback more than one place, too. Of course, in Pittsburgh, taking the Super Bowl, played in Cincinnati for a while, did a good job there, but they decided, as much as anything, cap problems and maybe a little relationship between Bruce Coslett and Neil O'Donnell.
3rd down and 7, and today Chris Carter's been a great security blanket for Culpepper on 3rd downs. 2 big catches on 3rd downs today. Culpepper throws, looking for Moss. What a catch by Moss. Beats Sam Madison. And a fumble on the play. It's loose at the 27-yard line. And I believe it is recovered by Minnesota.
Randy Moss gets up a little slow right here, but he's just going to break back to the inside. Legal chuck within 5 yards. Man, he is so special. You know, receivers come out and they've got intangibles. Coaches can't coach that part of it.
Coach, that's not catching the ball. That's basically snatching it out of the air.
Well, you can see Dante Culpepper getting more and more confident just to let the ball go and let his receivers make plays like that.
Oh, you got the 2 of the most athletic receivers in the game.
3rd down 7. Make it 1st and 10. And a handoff to Robert Smith, who breaks some tackles and finally brought down by Zach Thomas. 2-minute warning. 13-yard gain by Smith. Two-minute warning. Minnesota's on top of Miami 6-0 on 2 field goals. 28 yards by Anderson, 49 yards by Anderson.
Both of which he was headed to the sideline before they crossed the uprights.
Yeah.
He was so confident.
1st down and 10 to go from the 15.
This audible is a run audible. Offensive linemen are leaning forward. Coolly, yes, strong.
To the end zone. And caught for the touchdown, Randy Moss. Point good by Anderson. As Dante Culpepper throws his first career touchdown pass. 13-0 Minnesota.
And all of that yelling and screaming by Randy Moss is paid off.
Well, this is a gutsy call. It's a gutsy throw. That ball was almost intercepted. I mean, I still think it was a gambling, courageous, almost reckless call. But that's why I'm up here talking about it. The guys with the nerve are down there calling the plays. Just incredible.
Well, he sees the blitz coming right here. You feel everybody up tight, so he sees one-on-one coverage, nobody coming from the inside. He elects to go for it. This just shows more and more confidence that Dante Culpepper's having in the receivers making plays at the other end of it for him. And some of it may come from the fact that all week and all during this ball game, they've been coming back to him and getting right in his face. Put the ball up, I'll catch it for you.
I still believe that you guarantee yourself to win by running in that situation.
Strategy-wise, you're correct. 9 points, the game is over.
9 points, the game's over. And that ball was almost intercepted.
But you know, in the long run, the fact that he recognized the blitz, threw the ball up there, and they got that touchdown, going to pay some dividends down the road for the Vikings.
Well, we did say earlier, you keep throwing it at number 84 and something real good's going to happen. You keep throwing it at Randy Moss and something's going to break. And it just broke the game open. It's over.
Well, they've got so many weapons with those two receivers. Dave Wannstedt told us that he was worried about Robert Smith up the middle. He's been affected there too. But this young quarterback is just taking another step towards doing a great one.
Gary Anderson is going to be kicking off. Normally it's Mitch Berger.
This might be one of those funny kicks. Yep.
You're right. Deion Dyer fumbled it away, picked up by Hunter Goodwin, who is a reserve. And he takes it up to about the 35-yard line. Next week, Vikings will be in Foxborough against the New England Patriots.
Then they get that open date, and then they're on the road 3 weeks in a row. So they got a long run. They got to be talking to those scheduled. Of course, they open with 2 home games. That's always a plus.
Dolphins with 2 timeouts. 1st and 10 at their own 34. Jay Fiedler today, 8 of 26. Into the sideline, it is caught. Rondé Gadsden close to a first down, gain of 9.
Miami to Baltimore. They got their hands full next week as well, or Miami will be hosting Baltimore. There aren't really any, other than that open date, there aren't any days off in this league anymore, are there, Diesel?
No.
Just outside the 43. 2nd down and 1. Pass incomplete, looking for Gadsden. Jacksonville holding on against Baltimore, and now overtime Kansas City and Tennessee.
Ooh, that's a beauty.
That is a good one.
That's a disappointing day for the Cincinnati fans. That was a sold-out stadium, hard ticket to get, big rivalry.
3rd down and 1, quarterback sneak. Fiedler takes it himself out near midfield. Tackled by Hovan.
Earlier in the ballgame, they, I'm sure, would like to have had that down right there when they were 3rd down and 2, and it was sacked, knocking them out of field goal position. Can't say the quarterback sneak would have made it that kind, but might have left him in field goal position anyway. Change of strategy.
Thomas is in. Pass caught by Bert Emanuel for a 4-yard gain, covered by Kenny Wright. Timeout Miami. 1 left. With 1:16 to play in the 4th quarter.
Well, the positive things we've seen here today, 2 solid defenses. Both of them have done a great job. The kicking games have been incredible for both teams, coverage-wise. And you've seen 2 young quarterbacks basically have managed the ball pretty well. They've had a couple of mistakes, but you're not going to be perfect every Sunday.
13-0 Minnesota tonight on CBS. Is the Texas way, George Bush's way, the best way to test school children before promoting them to the next grade. Tonight on 60 Minutes, followed by Touched by an Angel, and then the CBS Sunday night movie Under Siege with Steven Seagal. Tommy Lee Jones. Second down 5. Dolphins inside the Viking 47. Thielen going deep, and he's got Morton at the 10, down inside the 5. He beat Robert Tate. 1:05 to play. Dolphins have one timeout.
And the Dolphins were down to desperation time. Tate, a former wide receiver, man for man down the field. Minnesota chose to blitz the quarterback rather than play that soft prevent zone. This is why you see that prevent.
Coach, I'm so glad you said that. You don't know how many people I run up against say that prevent zone. Well, this is the reason you run a prevent zone. You let them throw the little 5-10 yard passes underneath. You don't let them have this.
Well, this gives them a chance to get back in the ballgame. Now, if they can score quickly, their timeouts are over. They're going to have to go into the onside kick, but that's why you practice the onside kick on Fridays every week.
Fiedler has made some throws and he's made some runs. He has saved Miami from a lot of sacks.
These numbers don't show it right there, but he's played well.
First and goal from the 2. Thurman Thomas in the backfield with Fiedler. 3 wide receivers. Fiedler puts his on pass. Touchdown. Caught by Thurman Thomas.
Minnesota again went man for man with a solid blitz. They just coming after that young quarterback, and he's holding up to it. Can you hear him around the Ivy League right now?
That's right. The boys at Dartmouth are just saying, well, that's our guy.
Robert Griffith, almost a clean rush to him, but the ball was just underway too quickly.
Windemare will try the extra point. Hayward with the hold. And with 1:02 to play here in the fourth quarter, it's 13-7 Minnesota. Vikings 2 timeouts. Miami has 1. Next week in the NFL, it's Buffalo at the Jets, San Diego at Kansas City, and then Denver and Oakland all next week, beginning with the NFL Today from Fifth Avenue on CBS.
Those guys have a lot of fun. We'll have to give them that. In that studio.
Today they're drinking pickle juice. You see that?
Yeah, I saw that. Well, that's the new magic elixir now that keeps you getting dehydrated.
Although Philadelphia was losing today to the Giants, they may ditch that pickle juice.
I may go home and take a bath in it and see if it helps my throat. I'll try anything now.
Well,
you remember the ones I just recapping this ball game in field goal position earlier in the ball game, the fourth quarter. Miami sacked out of field goal position. The old what-if game, had they maintained possession at least within field goal, made the field goal, we'd be looking at a 3-point difference in the ball game right now.
well, as you look at the people, the players walking out on the field right now for the kickoff return, you know that Randy Moss is not normally on the kickoff return, but they've got their hands team out there. Anybody who can catch is up there in anticipation of the onside kick. There's Carter. Everybody who can catch is out there. Tight ends, running backs, wide receivers, all the big linemen, the very big people, are sitting down.
You're just looking for possession here. You're not looking for the big run back, and nobody needs to block. Miami with a balanced kick. They don't know if they're going left or right.
And this is caught by Orlando Thomas. Brought down by Jerry Wilson. They've got it at the Miami 21.
Coach, that was a real bad kick.
Well, Mara usually kicks it so high that in practice on Thursday, they were practicing bouncing a volleyball so they could get it high enough. This time he just gets way under it. This looks like one of those chips by Tiger Woods off the fringe of the green somewhere.
That was a
Remember,
real bad kick.
It doesn't have to go 10 yards to be returned. You can return that ball just like you did.
Vikings will sit on it. And a tough day for Dave Wannstedt. His defense really played well most of the day.
Yep. Well, the only time they really defensively gave up things is when they started to gamble after they got down late in the fourth quarter. Otherwise, it's been both sides. Both teams played well. Both teams looked good today.
So Minnesota will go to 2-0. Big day for Chris Carter receiving. 9 catches, 168 yards. And the Miami Dolphins will drop to 1-1. They've got Baltimore in Miami next week.
I heard Denny Green in the locker room after the game last week talking about, every Sunday there are 15 guys, teams that are happy, 15 teams that are upset. As we looked at both coaches there, pretty easy to pick out who wins and loses seconds after that game's over, right? Just from the expression in their face.
Well, you should be reminded that Chris Carter is a 14-year veteran. Having a day like today.
Final here, 13-7. The Minnesota Vikings go to 2-0, beating the Miami Dolphins. Now let's go to Fifth Avenue in New York with Jim